Hello, greetings from my home in Potomac, Maryland. I am recording this on the weekend of March 22nd, 2020, following the worst week in the financial markets since the 2008 crisis. First and foremost, I hope each and every one of you and your near and dear ones is doing well and safe in this unprecedented crisis. Second, I want to salute those of you who are on the front lines of this war against coronavirus. Many of our clients are doctors and they are also working as police officers, government officials, and owning critical essential businesses like grocery stores and pharmacies. Keep up the good work and thank you from the bottom of our heart to keep us safe at this very difficult time. Now, as faithful stewards of your wealth, I want to talk to you about where we are in this crisis and what are the opportunities that can be taken advantage of for you. It is important to recognize that it is okay and normal to feel as many of you do at the moment, concerned about the significant loss in the equity markets in the last 1 month, which is over 30%. Nobody saw this crisis coming because the economies of the world were strong and it came from left field. However, together, I have every confidence that we will be able to get over this in due course of time. Nobody knows exactly when we'll reach the bottom. Nobody knows how long it will take to recover, but recover we will. Simply, if you look at history as a guide, in the last 100 years, there have been 15 years when there was a negative 20% or greater loss in the equity markets. And every single time, the economy came roaring back. Some years it took longer than others, but on average it took about 3 years to recover. So it is not a time to panic. On the contrary, it is a time to maintain your poise and perspective. I've been doing this business since 1983 and have helped and encouraged and guided literally thousands of individuals and hundreds of companies. And in all those years, I've seen bankruptcies, I've seen divorces, I've seen premature deaths, disability. I've never had anyone tell me that they needed all their money tomorrow at one time. So given the fact that some of your needs are short-term and some of your needs are long-term, from a long-term perspective, markets are very predictable. They are quite unpredictable in the short term. And your short-term money should not belong in the market in any case. So keeping that perspective will hopefully guide you into the future. Additionally, we need to know that bear markets do not destroy wealth. It is investor behavior that destroys wealth. A good analogy might be where you live. If in fact the neighborhood values plummeted by 30%, the question is, would you sell your house? Probably not. Similarly, the only way you can let this volatility make sure that you have a loss is if you actually sell at these times. On the contrary, every good buyer knows that you should buy when the markets are weak. So the crisis should not be wasted. And I would encourage you to work with your financial advisors to make sure that they have a strategy for you, not only for now, but also going forward. Quite honestly, there are bargains in the market, and if you missed out on the opportunities in 2008 or following 9/11 or Y2K, here's your chance again. So what I would encourage you to do is take a deep breath and sit down and talk to your advisors, and I'm going to give you some general guidelines that you might want to evaluate for your own consideration. Number one, if you have had a balanced or conservative investment strategy, you might want to consider whether it's worthwhile in these times to turn more aggressive. After all, the market is on sale. Second, if you have some additional cash on the sidelines that is not needed in the near term, that is not your emergency reserves, and you can essentially put it away for about 3 to 4 years, you might want to take advantage of the opportunities presented in the market. You can do this by designing a broad-based portfolio. If you want to be more tactical, speculative, you can go to industries that have been beaten down recently, like the airlines, the cruise lines, even the hospitality industry. Thirdly, if you have money in pre-tax retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks, you might want to talk to your tax advisor and see whether it's worthwhile to do a partial or a complete Roth conversion. That would allow you to essentially take the current values, pay tax on it, and then when the market rebounds and you take money out, you'll benefit from tax-free distributions. Finally, I also want to point out that the Center of Disease and Control, CDC, has indicated that this virus might impact somewhere between 40 to 70% of the US population eventually. I certainly hope they're wrong, and I'm happy to note that the vast majority of the people that do get infected will survive. However, the mortality rate so far that we have seen in the world is about 2% of the infected cases. But even if we apply 2% to the possibility of the entire US population, about 50% of them being infected, that would be approximately 3 million people. So with that potential fatality rate, as well as the current stimulus that the federal government has done with cutting interest rates and providing a tax holiday and so on and so forth, we think that the insurance companies will be under pressure to maintain their returns and are likely to increase premiums going forward. Therefore, for those of you who may be very concerned about this crisis, especially since there is no vaccine, you also want to evaluate the adequacy of your life insurance and long-term care insurance. And to the extent that might be short, you might want to consider talking to your insurance advisor about saying how they can add this coverage, and the sooner the better. Because if in fact you're infected or have been in touch with someone who's infected, it is likely that insurance companies might want to delay accepting you for that insurance coverage. So these are my recommendations at the moment. And if you have further questions on this, or you want another opinion, or you have a colleague who you feel would like to chat with us about some of their concerns, please feel free to reach us at vijay@integrityfinancial.com or via cell phone 301-785-7100. Thank you for listening, and please stay safe.